Household systems and dimensional analysis. Household systems is the measurement system that's commonly used for prescribing medication taken at home. And unlike the metric system where we just move the decimals around, household systems commonly use fractions. I wouldn't say all the time, but most of the time they do. Here are some equivalents between within the household systems: gallons to quarts to cups, ounces, tablespoons, and teaspoons. And then for 1 teaspoon there are 60 drops. And then the symbols are also included here in this slide. Here are some other equivalences with weights and lengths. So what we're going to do is convert. When we converted in the metric system, all we needed to do is multiply or divide by some power of 100 or some power of 10, and so that allowed us to just move the decimal places around. So for a more complicated dimensional analysis, we're going to need to get these relationships between two types of units and multiply. The idea is to multiply by 1. So let's take an example where we have 3 ounces and we want to convert the ounces into tablespoons. So first we need to find a relationship between ounces and tablespoons. And if we look back at the chart, we see that 1 ounce is equivalent to 2 tablespoons. Now, given this, we can think about dividing both sides by our original units, which is ounces. So if we divide this by 1 ounce, including the units, we would have 2 tablespoons divided by 1 ounce as something of a unit of 1. And so we know that when we multiply by 1, we don't change the value. So if we take 3 ounces and multiply this by 1, we get 3 ounces times 1, or equivalent to times 2 tablespoons divided by 1 ounce. And with this now, we're multiplying fractions, and anything in the numerator we can divide with anything in the denominator, and that includes the units as well. So we can imagine canceling out the ounces as units, and then all we have left is 3 times 2 tablespoons, and again including the units, that is equivalent to 6 tablespoons. So 3 ounces is equivalent to 6 tablespoons. Let's take another example where we take a look at 15 drops, and we want to know how many teaspoons this is. Again, we take the relationship between drops and teaspoons, and according to the chart, 1 teaspoon is 60 drops. And so we want to divide both sides. This time we want to divide both sides by the drops, because that is the units that are given to us in our original problem. So we divide this by drops and we get 1 teaspoon over 60 drops. And now we do our multiplication, or we take 15 drops, multiply it by 1 teaspoon over 60 drops. Again, with a unit analysis, the drops would cancel, the GTTs, and as they cancel out, we then are left with 15 divided by 60. And again, with the household measurements, we generally want to leave these as fractions, and so we can just write 1/4 of a teaspoon. Now, sometimes we might need to convert from a household system to the metric system, and so here is a short list of conversion tables for liquid volume, and these are approximates. It's a little bit more difficult to get exact equivalences when we're going from one measurement to another. And so we have approximate measurements for 1 gallon. Quart is almost 1 liter. Um, and 1 teaspoon is approximately equal to 5 milliliters. Some conversion factors might look at a teaspoon as 4.9 milliliters, 4.85 milliliters. Um, but for most cases, I think it's good enough to consider 1 teaspoon as 5 milliliters. Here's some more equivalences in weights and lengths. Let's take another example, and we want to convert 5 teaspoons into milliliters. So we find the relationship between teaspoons and milliliters. So 1 teaspoon is approximately equal to 5 milliliters. And we want to divide both sides by the the teaspoon side, because that's the original amount that was given. So we do that and we get a unit 1 and multiply 5 teaspoons by 1, or 5 teaspoons by 5 mLs divided by 1 teaspoon. Again, unit analysis, the units cancel, and we have 5 times 5 milliliters, that's 25 milliliters. And one final example, a patient weighs 200 pounds, how many kilograms does this patient weigh? So the relationship between, note that there's two, in this case, in our table at least, there's a relationship from kilograms to pounds and pounds to kilograms. And so the second one, pounds to kilograms, would be our preferred conversion factor, because we have pounds given as for per 1 pound. And so our problem will reduce to a multiplication problem instead of a division problem. And so in doing so, we're going to select the bottom equivalent, 1 pound for 0.45 kilograms. And so we do the same thing we've done before. Our units that are given are in pound. We want to convert to kilograms, so we want kilograms in the numerator, pounds in the denominator, and we got 45 kilograms for 1 pound. And so we simply take the 200 pounds and multiply this by the 1 unit, and we cross out the pounds, and we do our multiplication and get 90 kilograms. So a 200-pound patient is actually 90 kilograms.